are tuned into the W Show on Sideline Sports Talk Network and 100.1 FM Kansas City. Live from Radio Row in San Francisco, California. Brought to you by Gates Barbecue, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Dillard Zona Rosa, the Soul of Santa, Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services, and Wood Nissan.
We're back here live from Radio Row. We've been here all day. Beautiful day in San Francisco. So if you guys are watching us or listening to us in Kansas City, I'm sorry, but we're here in sunny San Francisco. And we have some more great guests with us. And we're talking brain health today with Patrick Kerney and also Tom Laktovic. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Appreciate you guys coming on with us. Now talk about Better Brain.
Sure. Yeah. I became introduced to the company about 18 months ago. Spent a few months digging in on the research around which the company was built. Became ecstatic about what that meant. Not only for myself as an NFL player, for the NFL fraternity, but really for society at large. Alzheimer's is the number one health concern for Americans over the age of 40, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of these people have now witnessed a loved one or have a good friend who's witnessed a loved one end their lives in this manner, and it rightfully instills a great deal of fear.
Yeah.
In terms of being a former player, look, we understand the deal we made. It's outsized compensation for outsized risk.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're young and you're in your 20s, you're feeling a little bulletproof. You may be a little bit more willing to make that trade.
Right.
As you get older, some guys might have a little more regret about it.
Yeah.
Better Brain was the first thing that came along that said, look, if there was damage done, there's something you can do about it. Traumatic brain injury is a factor.
Yes, it is.
It's a factor in Alzheimer's dementia, but it is not the only factor. And there's many other factors that are controllable in the here and now, not only to stave off, to delay, but possibly prevent Alzheimer's dementia from ever setting in and optimize your current cognitive performance.
Mm-hmm. I love it when Steve brings guests on here that kind of resonates with me and everything that goes into my life. That's why he's my best friend. I was in the Army. I was airborne. I was a paratrooper. Got my head knocked around. I have a good battle buddy, Shriner. He talked just like us when I met him, and he was called a toe jumper. He jumped out of the plane. His parachute didn't deploy, and he was just hanging on the end of the plane, just smacking his head like Tom Cruise. And now he talks with a stutter. He can't complete sentences. What was about 2 months ago, I had vertigo, and I was diagnosed with severe migraines and tension headaches. So how can your company help me and other veterans?
Well, first of all, thanks for your service. And that sucks that you're experiencing that. I would say your experience first to just give voice to it. Brain health is, we think, the biggest unmet health need in the world. Over 80% of people in America have some symptom. Almost everyone's worried about cognitive decline, and less than 10% of those people get good care. So it's a giant problem. The piece of that puzzle that we're trying to help folks with is really the prevention piece, and not so much the acute treatment, although that's really important. And just the really good news is that in the last really 5 or 10 years, a lot more science has been developed to at least help balance out, in many respects. All of us suffer some form of increased risk from the way that we've lived. Not necessarily all veterans of the NFL or the armed services, but we all have things that we're working through, and so we're trying to help people take some steps to help improve the function of their brain to kind of counterbalance some of the riskier things that we're all involved in.
Yeah, and so Patrick, is this something that you jumped in, not necessarily immediately after your playing career, but how long before you you really jumped into this brain health field?
Yeah, it was 15 years into retirement that I came across him, and for those first 15 years, I ate well enough. I've always been an avid exerciser, an avid reader. That sort of spoke to me and sort of made sense. Like, this is taking care of my brain as best I know. It was a guess. And then getting introduced to Better Brain said, okay, now I actually want to know what happened to my brain. Let's inventory the damage, because I'm confident that even if I receive bad news, there's something I can do about it.
Yes.
And I brought this to some former teammates, and they've gone through the process, and they share that sentiment. The sense that there's something we can do about it, if there is bad news, is so empowering.
Yeah. And can you talk about this process leading into the the preventative side? Is there a certain process that you all are really pushing forward towards people?
Yeah, the simplest way to say it is what we try to do is help you understand your body and your brain. First and foremost, what most people don't realize is your brain is mostly a function of how the rest of your body works. So if your metabolic health is good, your brain's going to be good. If it's not, so we really first try to just help you understand your body and your brain. We then take that information, help you decide what to do. The good news is that there's hundreds of actions you could take. The challenging part is there's hundreds of actions you could take. So we try to use the insight about your biology, your budget, help you figure out what 3 or 4 or 5 things to do. And then our coaches help you put that into practice in your life.
Definitely. So as a former player, you mentioned talking to some of your former team or your former teammates. Are they receptive to it? Or because a lot of when we're younger, like you said, it's kind of like we can just do whatever. We're Superman, right? But how do you get guys and younger guys to be more receptive of let's take this thing seriously? Yeah,
I haven't gone much younger yet. It's mostly been my cohort guys who I played with, who are probably no less than 7 years out of the NFL. So most of them, definitely the majority, have been excited about the news. That there is a ray of hope. That said, not all of them have jumped into the process, which is it's a fairly minimal commitment. It's about a 15-20 minute personal history lifestyle questionnaire online, and then a blood draw where they can come to your house. You can go to a local lab, and then you have like a 75-minute counseling coaching session that interprets the results of your blood draw, interprets how those interact with your lifestyle, with your personal history, with your genetic history, and tie all those things in for you. So it's pretty convenient, but men in particular, we fear the doctor.
Guys,
we do. The doctor, but I keep trying to say to guys like, look, I understand that you're scared of possible bad news. Understand that if there is bad news, there's great news to come along with it.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as being within this field with a better brain and things, are there things that today that you're still learning, and especially with the amount of guys that you may deal with, are there things that you're still learning, not only in just your process, but things that are going on with your brain?
Yeah, look, when I learned my blood draw, I learned that I possess a genetic problem. There's APOE genetic variant, 2, 3, or 4. If you have a 4, that's a problem. It's a 2.5 to 3 times risk of Alzheimer's dementia. I have a 4. So
really,
I got to deal with that. So I have to take the rest of the things all the more seriously, right? There's a blood test for p-tau now. I've got luckily a reasonable amount in my bloodstream, and so it's not a great fear. But I have a genetic predisposition, obviously, to higher LDL cholesterol, which is a factor towards Alzheimer's dementia. So I've had to adjust my diet a little bit. Nothing too much, but a little bit. Other things I've taken to optimize. Every time I've hit the gym, I've always thought it's, hey, crush yourself. Like, no, once or twice a week, do a zone 2 workout. Just chill on a treadmill for 40 minutes, read a book. You don't have to double yourself over today, buddy.
I've had to learn that in my 40s. Like our last couple of years going to Radio Row, I'm going too hard in the gym and get hurt before I get out here. And it's like, calm it down a little bit.
That's right. So all these little hints that have, taken me from, I was very blessed. I was in good shape, but it's my working from trying to go from good to great.
Yeah, I'd love to get involved with you guys because I suffer some short-term like memory loss and things like that. Yeah. So I definitely would love to get involved with you guys. If there are people like me who want to get involved, how would they go about doing that?
Well, there's 2. I mean, first of all, just we betterbrain.com is the website. We set up a free forever experience. So just in terms of accessing the science and some of the tools, we've tried to make that available to everybody. So that's one step. Okay. And then otherwise, in terms of the movement that we're trying to, and we are a business, we're trying to help people. A lot of what we do is covered by insurance, but we're also just trying to get the word out. So forget the company. Yeah. So I'd say the biggest thing is educate yourself. We're just kind of glossing over the science here at a very high level,
right?
But learn it yourself and then share it with other people. Okay. And even, by the way, one of the things we do is we do a lot of cognitive testing for people. I'm 50, right? I forgot my keys. Is that because I'm 50? Do I have dementia? Or did I just have a bad day, right? And by the way, most people forget stuff all the time. Okay. That's pretty normal. Yeah. And so we also just try to help people figure out is that just normal, or is it like an issue? And so getting a little bit of a baseline and kind of measuring it over time helps figure out where things are. You're probably fine.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know, because I go to a room and be like, what did I come in here for?
He
like,
forgets. He forgot the question he just asked.
What am I coming in here for? And I have to go back and retrace my steps. Yeah, and I'm like, is something going on? And like, what?
When you're 25, you're like, I just forgot something.
Right.
You're starting to get older. You're like, what's going on?
Once I hit 40, I'm like,
Right.
Have you guys taught, as me as a veteran, knowing other veterans that have the problems that I have, you guys think about venturing into connecting with the VA and being that resource for our troopers?
We are in discussions with a number of those organizations. We've had a ton of, but I will say, just back to the man point, we've had tens of thousands of people benefit and go through some version of Better Brain. I'll tell you guys, 75% are women.
Really? Okay.
Because it's tougher. And so I also said, any woman listening, get your man to go get checked out. It's good for you. But we've had tons of veterans. We are working with some of those organizations we're trying to get to. I mean, a lot of what we're doing is new science, and so that's part of the problem. If you just go to your doctor, most of them, unfortunately, don't know. Veterans are huge because they have, just like former contact athletes, generally suffered a lot more TBIs than your average person. And so it's all the more reason to do the things you can and learn what those are, in cases where you've had more risk.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm going to go on the site today and look it up, because my brain, these headaches, they're horrible.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Patrick, your time. We definitely appreciate you giving us some of your time today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having
One
me.
question, though. Who do you guys have winning? That's what we're here for. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go Hawks.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, man, I'm from Cleveland. I've been depressed for a century, and so I'm hoping for a good game.
Century and a half.
Definitely.
All right, we're here at Radio Row. We'll be back with more guests coming up soon.
Thanks.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show. 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio, Sideline War Talk, Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.